On December 29, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 took off from New York's JFK Airport, heading for Miami. It was a routine flight with 176 passengers on board. The experienced crew was led by Captain Bob Loft, who had over 30 years of flying experience, and First Officer John Stockstill. The aircraft was a Lockheed L-1011 Tristar, and flight engineer Don Repo had completed all pre-flight checks. The crew had flown together many times before, so they worked in harmony. The flight progressed smoothly as the skies were clear and the weather calm. However, as they neared Miami, something went wrong. While preparing for landing, the crew noticed that the landing gear indicator light wasn't coming on. Concerned but confident in their experience, Captain Loft decided to take action to troubleshoot the issue. While they focused on fixing the problem, no one noticed that the autopilot had accidentally been disengaged. The plane began to descend slowly without anyone realizing it. By the time they understood what was happening, it was too late. At 11:42 p.m., Flight 401 crashed into the Florida Everglades, killing 101 of the 176 passengers. This tragedy sent shockwaves through the aviation community. But the story of Flight 401 didn't end with the crash. In the months and years following the accident, strange and unsettling incidents began occurring on other Eastern Airlines flights, particularly those equipped with parts salvaged from the wreckage of Flight 401. Reports of ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena spread among the airline's employees. The first sighting occurred just months after the crash. During a routine flight from New York to Miami, a flight attendant noticed a man in a captain's uniform sitting in one of the passenger seats. She realized he wasn't part of the current crew and assumed he was an off-duty pilot hitching a ride. When she approached him to ask if he needed anything, the man gave her a piercing look and said, "I'm Captain Bob Loft. You don't need to worry about this flight." Shaken by the encounter, the flight attendant reported the incident to a senior colleague. However, when they both looked back, the man had vanished. In a state of shock, she checked the passenger manifest, only to discover that no one named Bob Loft was on board. It was then that she learned Bob Loft was the captain who had died in the crash of Flight 401. This was just the beginning. Over the next few years, numerous sightings of Captain Loft and flight engineer Don Repo were reported by pilots, flight attendants, and passengers. In each case, the apparitions seemed to be warning the crew of impending danger or assuring the safety of the flight. Many employees came to believe that these ghostly encounters were the spirits of Loft and Repo, continuing to perform their duties even after death. One of the most famous incidents occurred on a flight to Miami, where a flight attendant saw a face reflected in the glass of an oven door in the galley. She recognized the face as that of Don Repo, the flight engineer who had died in the crash. Terrified, she immediately alerted the captain. Upon inspection, they discovered a fault in the oven that could have caused a fire. It was later realized that if the oven had been used, it could have led to a serious accident. In another instance, a ground crew preparing an aircraft for takeoff saw a man in an Eastern Airlines uniform walking through the plane. When they approached him, he vanished into thin air. Upon reviewing the crew list, they realized the man looked exactly like Captain Loft. Some reports even claimed that the apparitions of Loft and Repo were seen together. These eerie encounters were not limited to just one aircraft. Planes fitted with parts salvaged from Flight 401's wreckage were particularly prone to these supernatural occurrences. Employees often hesitated to speak about their experiences for fear of ridicule or other consequences. Despite this, many who encountered the spirits of Captain Loft and Don Repo reported a sense of calm and safety. Rather than seeking revenge or harm, the spirits seemed devoted to ensuring the safety of passengers and crew, just as they had in life. The ghosts of Flight 401 became a part of aviation folklore, circulating widely among Eastern Airlines employees. Over the following years, Eastern Airlines gradually removed parts salvaged from Flight 401, and the sightings slowly decreased. By the time Eastern Airlines ceased operations in 1991, the story of the ghosts of Flight 401 had become a memory for those who had experienced it. The crash of Flight 401 was a turning point in aviation history, leading to significant changes in safety protocols and how airlines handle emergencies. It also left behind a legacy, a reminder of the dedication of pilots, engineers, and crew members who sacrificed their lives to ensure the safety of others. As for the ghosts of Captain Bob Loft and Don Repo, their story remains one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation history. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the impact of their apparitions cannot be denied. In some way, they continued flying, watching over those who followed in their footsteps. To this day, the story of the ghosts of Flight 401 is still talked about by pilots and flight attendants, a reminder that perhaps unknown forces may exist in the world of aviation. For those who believe, Captain Loft and Don Repo are not just ghosts, they are the eternal guardians of the skies, forever committed to their duty, even in the afterlife. This is a true story that happened on December 29, 1972. Although these ghost sightings became part of aviation folklore and are well documented in books and TV shows, there is no concrete evidence to verify the paranormal claims. Eastern Airlines never officially acknowledged the reports, and over time, the stories faded, especially after salvaged parts from Flight 401 were removed from service.
Dive into the mysterious realms of the unknown with us. Our channel is your portal to a world filled with ghostly encounters, enigmatic sightings, and the exploration of eerie locales. But that's not all. We're not just about thrills and chills. We're also here to enlighten you with the latest in cutting-edge technology, intriguing historical facts, and mind-bending mysteries. Don't miss out on the adventure. Hit subscribe and become part of our community of curious minds today.